Hello, it's me again, this time with the AM News. And in our first story, Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagwin, says consensus building in the House will suffer should the Majority Caucus continue to attack his personality, citing attacks by the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Marking, and some other New Patriotic MPs. Mr. Bagwin observed that the activities obstruct any possibility of a resolution in the House. He's been speaking in an interview with the state broadcaster, the GBC.
How can you now lead your team to now be attacking me and saying that I should lead? In fact, one of them said, I should learn how to lead. It's because the level of leadership I'm at, he doesn't understand it. And that is someone who claimed to be my son, the honorable member for Efutu, the deputy majority leader, Honorable Afenyo-Marking. You come and you personally attack me, then you come to the House and you expect that we should have that spirit of consensus building. Things don't work that way.
He has also blamed his first deputy, Joe Osei-Wusu, for the exchange of fisticuffs between MPs during the consideration of the e-levy bill last month.
I left Parliament after 10 p.m. and I sent my closing remarks for the day, and that's for the session, through my usher to the second deputy speaker, that at the conclusion of the debate, you read this as my closing remarks for the session. And given this, I will not be available to even read my closing remarks. And I left to my house because I was tired. And that, to be frank with you, my first deputy speaker was wrong in even announcing that he was going to vote. And so when the second deputy speaker voted, he then called on him to come and take over so that he will also now go and vote. And that is why when he bent down for the second to take over, the minority members rushed to prevent that from happening. That's what led to the fisticuffs. Now, what happened on the floor? I'm being said to be the cause of it. So, where are we now? So this blame game will not wash. It will not. It was a low blow to me.
Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has urged factions in the Boku conflict to use legitimate and judicious means to resolve the conflict than resorting to arms or violence. He noted that Ghana is a country of rule of law which must be respected, and no individual or groups will be allowed to make the country unsafe or ungovernable. Ambrose Derry spoke to JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam in an exclusive interview on the margins of New Year party held for his constituents.
Derry spoke on a wide range of issues, starting with the development of the Upper West region and ended with the state of the country's security.
Have we reached the ultimate? No, we haven't done so. That's why I started by saying that we are relatively peaceful, relatively safe, but still moving forward and still being the oasis of peace in this country.
He then zeroed in on the recent conflict in Boko in the Upper East region, which has resulted in curfew being imposed in the area.
It has been settled for decades that the President Bokonaba, the Kusasi Bokonaba, is the Bokonaba without dispute, confirmed by a Supreme Court decision, has been the case in the past, and this government has no intentions of disturbing the situation. On the contrary, we are determined to protect the status quo. I'm disturbed when I see anything that's ethnic based. The ethnic groups have existed peacefully over the years, and we do not want any division in the north, or indeed any part of the country, along ethnic lines. Mampuchis and Kusasis have coexisted in the Boko area and in other parts of the country, and nothing should be done to disturb that cordial relationship.
Ambrose Derry stated that government has no interest in who becomes the chief of an area, but has unwavering interest in maintaining peace of those areas.
I want to advise all those who want to call themselves youth associations of various organizations to know that this is a state where the rule of law must be respected. We are all equal before the law, and no one is above the law. And and nobody will be allowed to take the law into his or her own hands and make this country ungovernable.
He urged all warring factions to use legitimate means to resolve the conflict that results into violence.
And I want to say that applies to the rest of the country. If you have a chieftaincy matter, go to the traditional institutions, traditional council, judicial committee of the regional houses of chiefs, national house of chiefs, and from them to the Supreme Court. Let no one think that you can take the law into your hands.
The Interior Minister also used the opportunity to rebut allegations leveled against him on the ceding of lands belonging to Lamuse to Nanda municipality at a press conference held at Lamuse by a group calling themselves Consent Sisala Movement.
All the elevation did was to change the status from district to municipality, maintaining the existing boundaries that have been in the past. There is no iota of truth whatsoever that I'm party or privy or part of any move to take any land. The most ludicrous one is I'm alleged to have been trying to create another district in which there's a northern Nandom district with my village as the capital. I ask all those who have heard the allegation to ignore it with the contempt that it deserves. There is no such scheme or plan on my part to create a district. Not at all. Not at all.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Kokoligu.
In other stories, the government has been advised not to create false hope among residents in areas where iron ore has been discovered in commercial quantities. The former Executive Secretary of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Oben, in an interview with JoyNews, cited a number of locations where iron ore discoveries have been made in the past, including the Sheni iron ore deposit, which never saw the light of day after decades of discovery. He's urging political actors to manage the expectation of locals in these areas because a lot more work is required to establish how the mineral will be commercialized.
This is not the first time that iron ore has been discovered in Ghana. In fact, the occurrence was known many years ago that there were occurrences of iron ore in that area. But its commerciality was not well known. Now, you know that Sheni was discovered in, I think, 1900. It discovered the Sheni iron ore deposit. Up to now, Sheni iron ore deposit has not been developed. The opponents say iron ore deposit created a lot of euphoria. I'm sure you were too young to know a man called R.P. Bafo, who even stood for as a presidential candidate and all that. And at that time, there was a prospect that because Insuta manganese was there, that was only in 1963. Now, Insuta manganese was there, and then they had discovered the iron ore. So establishing an iron and steel industry was going to be a very sweet thing for the country. Up to now, do you know anything about a permanent iron ore industry? So I think it is always very dangerous to overly prep the excitement of communities. If you look at what has been found and what is announced, we have about 55% or 50-something% in terms of iron ore content in the ore. So there is a significant amount of what they call penalties or things that are not relevant to iron ore. So for you to convert it into commerciality, it takes time.
Tributes continue to pour in for the late general manager of multimedia group's Joy Brands, Elvis Kwashie. Mr. Kwashie died last Tuesday after a short illness. Today, we take you to his home residence, where Ivy Setuji has been interacting with his family. They share fond memories of the man they affectionately called Efo Koku.
My name is Pastor Joshua Gijono. I am an uncle to the late Koku. Koku has been such a wonderful person from childhood. He was so jovial, but very much reserved. And Koku has been a pillar of this family. And we are all hoping that in the years to come, Koku will have lifted this family to a level that all of us might be expecting. But unfortunately, we don't know what God has for us. And the unexpected happens. But we are trusting God that during this time, He will see us through. Koku has gotten names like De Young. That was when he was a young boy living with their grandmother at Asarama. And then one day they went to the market to buy things, and he was at the back of the grandmother, hitting the grandmother at the back. I wanted to buy De Young, and nobody knew what De Young was all about. So when the grandmother asked him, so De Young is Yavubolo, that is bread. So from that day we started calling Koku De Young. And we also call Koku Akpanogo because it's even though as young as he was, he could dance, he could beat all the drums that he can lay his hands on. So Koku has been a wonderful person, and everybody loves him in the family, and even at the village, Asarame. His schoolmates and everybody loves him. And when the news broke out, I think it was like a pandemonium in the village, and everybody was like, what might have happened? But like I said, we don't have the final say. God is the ultimate, and He knows what is good for us. When he was sick, we were praying. I don't know, the prayer we have never offered. But what is good for God, that is what He has done for us. So who are we to say where should Koku go at this time?
This is his mother, but we cannot speak with the mother, but this is his lovely mom. He was always proud of his mom, always telling us about his mom, go and visit my mom and all that. But she's not in the state of mind to speak with us now. So we'll speak with the immediate younger brother, Fosalo, here. Fosalo, tell us about your older brother. Last year, we were all here to bury your father, and he was so strong and all that. Tell us, how do you feel about all this? How did the news get to you?
Thank you. It's a very, very devastating news because, like you said, after my father passed on 2 years ago, everything has been handed over to Elvis, my brother, who is our spiritual leader, our everything. He called himself a problem solver. So whenever there is an issue, my mom always says, wait, Koku will come. Once Koku comes, there's a solution to the problem. So a very, very devastating news. But we thank God for giving him to us. As kids, I was very, very close. He was not just my brother, we were friends as well. He loves sports, he loves music. He was a great actor as well. People don't know that. He after church, he will come home and imitate everybody's dance at church. He likes to tease. Yeah. And growing up, when he decided to enter journalism, those of us who knew him were not surprised at all, because my late dad was an English tutor, and Elvis picked it up English from childhood. He was always correcting you. Anything you say, he says that's not how to say it, and then he will correct you. He corrects even my dad. Yeah. So becoming an editor and all that, I was not surprised at all. It's just sad. He will have to correct me now because I find it extremely difficult to refer to him in the past. I don't know how. So
So
we are thanking God. We thank God for everything. Okay, thank you.
Foster Lom is devastated, the whole family, and he's finding it very difficult to refer to him in the past tense. Yeah, so right now, his beautiful niece is here. She wrote a very nice poem for the uncle. Earlier, she told us that they were best friends. She and the uncle were best friends. What's your name?
Chris away Zuri.
Okay, so can you read what you wrote here for Uncle Koku?
All the things that I see deep down inside. The feeling I feel for Uncle Koku is the biggest. It makes me cry. He is gone to God.
We'll miss him. We'll miss him. He's been an inspiration. He's been an amazing big brother. He's always there to listen, and we'll miss him. But God knows best, so.
This event, it is very, very unfortunate for me to be here to tell something about Koku Elvis, because it was last time that they called me and told me about his illness, and we supported him in prayers. In fact, we were thinking that he will just recover and then join us, but unfortunately, only the death was announced.
Mr. Elvis Kwashie personally took me to multimedia some 11 years ago. And most of us will be internally grateful to him for training us, recruiting us, and making sure that we are what we are today. He will forever be remembered. He will forever be cherished. My name is Ivy Satoji for JoyNews.
Meanwhile, the multimedia group has opened a book of condolence for the late general manager of the Joy Brands, Elvis Kwashie. And that's it for the AM News. Up next is the online reviews with Enimwa and myself, so stay tuned. All right, hello, we're back. It's the AM show, the show worth waking up to, the show worth waking up for. And you know how to join the conversation: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're JoyNews on TV. And I'm not doing this by myself. I have anyone. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
I'm very hungry this morning.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I'm like starving.
I've been eating Cheetos since I woke up, so since about 5-ish.
Yeah.
But it's not actually helping at all. So I'm just waiting for Muftal, and then I can
go and grab something.
Go and grab some breakfast.
Okay.
But how are you? How was your weekend?
It was
Happy
good.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
I haven't seen you this year.
Oh, so cheesy.
I know.
Yeah.
This year. But how's your New Year been?
It was good. It has been good. We're taking it easy.
It's just been 2-3 days anyway.
Yeah, yes. We're taking it easy. We're seeing what 2022 has for us.
Has for us.
Yeah.
And of course, later on in the show, we'll be having that conversation about your expectations of yourself, of the year, of the government, and all of that. So you can start putting that down together for us. Do you do resolutions?
No, I don't. No. So I saw something on Twitter, and then they said, so you have to do your New Year's resolutions April, May, once the year has touched you small. So you know what exactly you are resolutioning.
I see. Okay,
you get
that's
it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one school of thought. There's also, you know, when people say that you need to just write down your goals for the year.
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of do that from the beginning, though, what you hope the year will be like, and then start to work towards it.
I guess so. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think right now my only resolution is, it's just like the health and the fitness thing.
Yeah, I've been resolutioning that for like 20 years.
Yeah, I know. But this year, someone has forced me to go to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm being forced to go to the gym to eat healthy and all of that. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see
how it goes.
But I'm sure a lot of you out there as well have that resolution, you know, eating healthy, losing weight. I hear actually, apparently data suggests that in January, the gyms have the highest
of course
membership. Yeah. In January, everybody's, you know, kind of trying to get healthy, and so there's a lot of motivation at the beginning of the year.
And then like March.
And then by March it's dwindled down, you know, and stuff. But I think consistency
is important,
like anything else.
Yeah, and also a support system.
Yeah.
If you have like people who have the same goals, because if I say I want to eat a salad and Enima says she's craving Cheetos, or she's been eating Cheetos since morning, the support system is not really there.
Yeah, very, very sorry.
Yeah, so anymore, support system.
But maybe we'll have a conversation maybe this week about setting realistic
goals. Yeah, that's also very important.
It's important, you know, to definitely have your goals planned out. Last night I was talking to a very dear friend, and he asked me, you know, what I wanted from 2022. And, you know, I spelled it out to him, and he looked at me and was like, wow, that's very specific. You know, and I was like, yeah, because a lot of times, you know, we pray about stuff, and, you know, you can pray and say, okay, you know, dear God, this year make me a millionaire, or, you know, God, I need money.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't actually have the breakdown of one, you know, how you think that you can generate money, because God is not going to drop money from heaven.
Of course, of course.
You know, and, you know, how you can do stuff to generate it, you know, how you're going to improve yourself, even to handle it, you know, if it does come by some
miracle,
immaculate conception type thing, then really you're just, you know, shooting stars in the sky, which are not really going to land anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think really it's about being very deliberate about
and realistic.
Yeah, about what you want to achieve for 2022. And of course, expectations of government. I mean, we're just hoping that people in Parliament don't fight this January. And when I say fight, obviously we don't mean, you know, the arguments which deepen the democratic, the democracy, the process of democracy. But, you know, the sitting on people and the shoving of chairs and, you know, all of that. I don't think we want to see that.
I don't know. It's good content. It's entertaining. Seeing the uncles and the aunties pushing each other.
Pushing each other.
It's entertaining, honestly.
It's entertaining, it's good content, but it's
also
always good for us.
Of course.
In terms of investor-wise, and, you know, people looking outside in. So what are your expectations of the government this year?
I mean, my pockets will, you know, has to.
Your pockets is expecting.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just like pockets and like basic services. You know, the electricity, the water. Well, my area, like where I moved to, I don't have problems with that. But like things like roads, we need to fix roads. All of those small things. Yeah, I think was it 2 years ago? Or before COVID, or 3 years ago. It was the year of roads.
Yeah, no, it was 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And then COVID came, and then apparently we couldn't, you know, unfortunately we couldn't continue with our year of roads. It's a new year. The pandemic has been with us. The virus has been with us.
Using COVID as an excuse for everything that.
So it's been with us for like 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah,
so let's now we have to get back to work. For example, with me, that was also my excuse for everything. Oh, you know, it's a pandemic. You don't have to go to the gym. We're living through a pandemic. You don't have to eat healthy. But now, Charlie, we've been living through this like for 2 years.
And it doesn't look like
let's get to work.
Anywhere.
Yeah, let's get to work. Yeah.
So, I think for my biggest expectation of government is to do something about the exchange rate. I want to see a more stable exchange rate.
Yeah.
Because it affects everything depending on how well the city is doing against other currencies.
Yeah.
So, you know, and of course, our Vice President, Baumia, you know, did sell himself as the, you know, economist. Tarzan. So, you know, I'd really like to see that. It affects everything. Traders, cost of goods and services. You know, if you're trying to buy something, everything.
Yeah.
So some stability there would be nice. Other thing is also that would become more production centered. You know, I know that
we'll talk about that.
There's planting for food and jobs. We seem to be trying to do a lot of things, but like the impact is not actually being felt yet, you know, in the average, you know, person's pocket. And for me, Abosokan is always, you know, such a good example of what production like local production would mean when you're getting spare parts from here. And obviously we're not even producing cars, so there's some things that obviously will have to come from outside. But the, you know, basic minimum, you know, like fan belts or your fan or your lights or your, we can do some of these things, you know, make the things that we produce here more attractive. But then again, they would say that Ghanaians are more of a outside, they like outside things, they like foreign things. So even if we're doing our own stuff, are we going to?
Well, we support our own stuff.
So it's you know, it's very, very interesting. All right, okay. Well, those are our thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts later on in the show. We'll be opening the phone lines, and of course, like Map said, to join us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Tell us what your expectations of 2022 are, of yourself and of the government, because at the end of the day, a lot of what we're able to do depends on what the government does. We're going to do our online news review now. A very good morning to the managers of Graphic, Times, Chronicles, the publisher, the Daily Guide. We're still waiting for the return of the papers, hopefully soon. Another return that I'm looking forward to is the return of Israel Live.
Hey,
he's back tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about that. But what do we have on My Joy Online?
Let's go to My Joy Online. A terrible story there. 28 dead, 148 others injured in road accidents during Christmas festivities.
I saw that. I saw those statistics.
Yeah, and
a little worrying. 28 dead.
It's quite terrible.
Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can do consensus building in Parliament will suffer if Majority Caucus continues to attack me. Well, that's interesting. That's Albert Backbin speaking there.
All right, we also have the Multimedia Group opens book of condolence for late Elvis Kwashie, and police place 5,000 Ghana cedi bounty on the head of a man who fired AK-47 unlawfully at ANC Mall. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You know what was actually quite disturbing was I was actually around
the place,
that area, around that time, and I remember that there was a lot of traffic, there was a lot of running around, you and all of that, and I guess he was just doing it for fun or to show off, or I don't know. So yeah.
So if you want to become 5,000 Ghana cedi richer, let's look for this man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who eats Indomie with Guinness? IGP baffled by how La Paz residents celebrated New Year's Eve. Blame Joseph Oseusu for brawl in Parliament and not me, and that's according to the Speaker, Alban Bagbin. Pray for MPs to prevent chaos in Parliament. Vice President Baumea urges religious groups. It's hard to believe my son is no more, mother of late Elvis Kwashie, and NPP used trickery to select the 2 deputy speakers of Parliament. That's according to Asedi Nketia. Let's see if we can go to the entertainment page of myjoyonline.com. BBC Sound of 2022. Colorful rapper Central C kicks off the countdown.
Interesting.
And we also have Betty White.
The Golden Girls and Hot in Cleveland star dead at 99.
I know.
She
would have been 100 on the 14th or 17th of January.
Oh,
so
bless. She didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
But it's I'm gonna say it's fine. I'm sure that it's painful, you know, for her family and for us. But we just have fond memories of her on TV. And 99 is such a nice, ripe old age.
So perfect.
So finally, you know. So what else? I'm seeing something about the Oscars.
All right, we have Harry Potter. 15 films to look out for in the Oscars race, and Harry Potter films at 20. What the cast did next. We also have Dwayne Johnson slams Vin Diesel's proposal for final Fast and Furious.
Okay. That's JoyNews. Should we do some business on myjoyonline.com? All right. Asante emphasizes honesty and integrity in development of Africa. Magdan Group to employ 400 Ghanaians as its commercial private jet services kick off in January. Oh, that's fantastic. Always nice to see more people being employed. Do you have any more business news? No. Okay. All right, maybe some sports. Hearts of Oak host Wycombe Chelsea in Premier League, outstanding game. We can feel David Abagnas Void, Shaibu Tanko, and of course, Muftal will be here shortly to take us through take us through some sports. Lionel Messi has tested positive for COVID-19. That's also part of the sports news, and of course, he would always make the headlines because he is, as they say, the greatest of all time. I'm sure if I agree. Though that's it for My Joy Online. Shall we do the BBC? Okay, we're not going to do the BBC. All right. Okay. So. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Muftal will be bringing us the sports news, and after that, of course, the show continues. And this morning, we're asking you, what are your expectations of 2022, of yourself, your family, your friends, and also of the government of Ghana? So if you get that ready, we'd love to hear from you when we come back. Stay tuned in.
Exactly a week today, Ghana will be talking about its build-up to the first game of the African Cup of Nations 2021 to be staged in Cameroon. That game will happen on January 10 against Morocco. But players are yet to arrive in camp and continue with preparations with the rest of the team for the opening game of the competition. And a management committee member of the Black Stars, Sami Kufuor, says this is caused by CAF's disrespect for its very own competition. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko have ended over a decade of failure to beat Adriana Stars in Doma, courtesy of goals from Mfegwe and Richmond Lamptey. We'll also be talking about the English Premier League as Manchester City go 10 points clear at the expense of Chelsea and Liverpool, who played out a thrilling 2-2 draw yesterday at Stamford Bridge. I am Muftal Nabila Ablai. This is AM Sports. Welcome. Let's start with the African Cup of Nations stories, where management committee member of the Black Stars, Samuel Kufuor, says CAF has disrespected the competition with their decision to approve a call from FIFA that they should release their players barely 7 days to the start of the competition. According to him, CAF lacks regard for the competition. That was why they approved it.
I think it was a wrong approach from CAF, in my opinion. Everybody has opinion. Everybody is entitled to speak whatever he wants to say or she wants to say. But for me, I think it's a totally disrespect to most of the African nations, because in Europe, where there's a rules and regulation, they will not abuse it. So why are they doing this to our tournament? And for us, as an African, this is a welcome for us. And everybody just really love to see this tournament. So if a journalist from Europe asks, why is the player going to African Cup of Nations? I think it's totally disrespect. They have to also respect our opinion and respect our tournament, because you cannot say this to South American tournament. Yeah. Why are you saying this to us? For me, I think it's totally disrespect. 5 days to the tournament and you are releasing the players. What the coach has a plan for his team? And if you give them 3 weeks, then there will be a preparation. If we want a better quality tournament, we shouldn't be hiding from the truth. We cannot just hide from the truth, because you need to give the players the time to rest and to come into the tournament, because they are playing with their heart. And anything can happen. We saw what happened in Nigeria. Yeah. A player just fall down and died. Exactly. From what? It's all about pressure. It's about pressure, game after game, game after game. When you're just playing 10 January and the tournament started on the 9th. Yeah. You travel back to your base, and how many days do you have to prepare with your team? Exactly. So it's a problem for me. And I think CAF needs to do something about it next time around, because now it's already gone. But next time, the respect, they have to give it to the nation. Every nation is qualified to have their respect for himself.
And talking about late arrivals of players, you would recall that last week, Thursday, we had mentioned that the likes Thomas Partey and co were expected in camp within this week. Thomas Partey, Daniel Amate, Jordan Ayew, who suffered an injury over the weekend, the likes of Baba Rahman and Andy Yadom, are all expected in camp today. The Black Stars will play a friendly match against Algeria tomorrow. That will be the only preparatory game they will be playing ahead of the tournament. We had also mentioned that the Ghana Football Association were still hoping of having Kudus Mohammed in camp for the competition. What our sources have indicated to us that they are hoping that Kudus Mohammed would recover and play part of the tournament should the Black Stars reach the latter stages of the competition. Let's talk Ghana Premier League football now, where Accra Hearts of Oak drew 0-0 against Bechim United, whilst Kwashie Asante Kotoko ended over a decade of failure to beat Aduana Stars in Doma. The Porcupines needed goals from Cameroonian import Mfegwe and former Inter-Allies marksman Richmond Lamtes to secure all points in the first time in over 10 years of coming up against Aduana Stars.
Awaku steps forward, he delivers, and this time he skies the airport for a goal kick. The Chimava corner, Arnold swings one, and Ben Mensah, they never say die. Even without the goals. He's had a very decent game though, doing good pass, trying to get to Konkoli, and Ben Mensah to the rescue of the Phobians. Maybe the final kick, referee takes the whistle to his mouth, he's blown it, and that's...
And so far we've seen so many giveaways in midfield.
Too many giveaways if you ask me. Lamte is back on the field, that's good enough for Kotoko. Into the 80-yard box, this should be it! Oh, I left the ball behind. And it's gone out for a corner kick. Kotoko miss.
Excellent cross, and look at the connection. All it needed was a clinical finish. Goalkeeper was beaten.
Into the 80-yard box. Goal! Kotoko shoot themselves into the lead.
Fege and Aduana Stars shell shock. Brilliant delivery again. Then Fege with a header, a goalkeeper completely beaten.
Kotoko bounce into the lead here at the Nanajiman Bedu Park. Brought him in, but let's see whether his impact can be felt within a minute or two. Ado comes out, loses that, and it's the nail in the coffin.
Let's look at the defending, very, very porous defending from there was no communication, not well dealt with. Just look at the finish and the celebration from this coach.
It's all done and dusted.
It was that long kick from Abdul Ganiu. Here, there was no problem. Clinton Opoku with the header, and just look at Boateng. Should be heading that ball away from danger. And goalkeeper already committed, and that finish was clinical.
Referee Latif Adari brings the match to an end.
That smile on the face of Dr. Prosper Nate Agum was an infectious one, because to be the first coach in 10 years to win for Kotoko in Doma is something he actually celebrated, because over 10 coaches have tried and failed, and he did it. Now let's hear from the coach of Kwashie Asante Kotoko and that of Accra Hearts of Oak. But first is that of Accra Hearts of Oak, Samuel Bodu, who said that he's disappointed with the performance of his boys when they came up against Bechim United, and has called on the players to improve on their finishing abilities.
It's a bad day because this is not how they played. As you can, the matches that we played at the Cape Coast, and compared to this one, it's quite different. So we need to work extra.
What has to then improve about the side?
Yeah, I mean the finishing and then the passing and the movement. Yeah.
Coach, all the best in the next one.
Thank you.
Very satisfied. You know, normally it's very joyous if you make history. This change has been there over the years, and we've been able to break it. Kudos to the boys. As I told you before the game, I told them that the threat, the intimidation, the fear outside the field will come, but then they need to stay focused and go by the game plan. And if you see the way we played, we're very confident on the ball. We're very confident without the ball. We kept to our game plan, keeping the ball on the turf, looking at the pockets of spaces and playing the ball through. And in fact, I need to commend Mudasiru and Richard Agadas for their wonderful showpiece. They were able to hold the trio of Aduana Stars, the three midfielders of Aduana Stars at bay. That created a lot of spaces for us to play the game.
Well, welcome back. This is the AM show. Now, planning 2022. There's so many different schools of thought about the new year. Is it a good time to make new resolutions? Is it a good time to decide on what to do? Is it a good time? Are we full of emotions and just, feeling so optimistic? How realistic are our goals? Are we making goals? Should we be making goals? And what should we be doing at the new year apart from overeating, which you shouldn't be doing, or just maxing out in the gym, which is not sustainable? So finding the balance, new year, new goals, new lease of life, all of that. But how do we do it properly, sustainably, and consistently? This morning, Doreen Bafo, CEO of Branch Out Africa, is joining us, and she's going to take us through a successful planning of 2022 for a successful implementation of 2022 for a successful review of 2022 in December. So that's the conversation that we're having. So good morning, Doreen.
Good morning, anyone.
Good to see you.
Good morning, Matt.
And of course, Maps will be here. And so Maps says this morning, Maps, I'm throwing you another bus.
Okay, what did I say?
This morning that, okay, I am really throwing her under the bus because that's not actually what she said. Let's say she said that, usually people would wait till April, May to kind of start to make resolutions or decide what to do because you need to feel the year a little bit. That's what Maps said.
That's what I said.
Yes.
January, we just got back from the holidays. We're taking it easy. We're trying to settle. So March, April is just like, okay, the year has now started.
And when does it end for you?
And it will end January.
Ah, okay.
You see?
But it's still 1 year if you think about it.
Yeah.
Can you keep a secret though?
Can I? Anyone, can I?
Yes, yeah.
I can.
Good,
I can.
I often start mine in the 3rd week of Jan.
See the thing.
But 3rd week of January and March, April, very
worlds apart.
But I think I don't agree with the March, April. I think it's two things. Either you're not going to do anything at all, which I've done some years, and just let life happen.
Yeah.
Or, straight from the get-go, when there is that vim and that, to kind of plunge into it and then kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then maybe not necessarily start immediately, but have the plan.
In the 1st week of January.
And then pray for the grace to implement.
And I think there are no hard and fast rules. I know people who start when it's their birthdays. So for instance, you have someone in August and say it's an opportunity for a brand new year. So then they start that conversation.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is to actually have that conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's always in 2 parts. It's to reflect and then to set goals. So you reflect to say, okay, what's the year been like?
So when people say have a conversation with yourself,
I
know how I have conversations with myself. I lie down and I speak out loud so when I'm driving.
Okay.
But how do you have when you say reflect, like it sounds very deep, but I know people are like,
what? Yeah.
What
are we doing? How are we talking to ourselves?
What are we doing? Yeah.
And I think it's as different as our personalities come.
Okay.
So I like to write it out. Even when I type, as interesting as it gets, I want to have my pen and a journal or a book and actually write. There's something about that for me. I think it's behavior. As a young girl growing up, when I needed to get deep into lessons or insights I had learned, I would write. And I think just being with myself allowed me to do that. But I've also met people who necessarily have to sit with someone, and have that conversation to say, okay, what's it been like? What are you going to do? And there's some evidence to suggest that for those people, the moment they share with others, the commitment to follow through, it's greater than when they did it on their own.
Yeah.
So I think it's understanding how you want to do this so that we're not putting people in certain rules and boxes. Yeah, it's what works for you.
But there's something that worried me. I think it was last year. So I was reading on sharing your goals and visions. And I'm not sure if you've seen this piece of work, but some research had been done and English is
not
gone
English
for New Year.
Yeah.
It hasn't come back.
Say it right.
The conclusion of the study was that when you have a goal or a dream and you tell someone, the satisfaction from sharing it with someone is the same it's the same signals in your brain that it registers when you have achieved it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you share your goals and your dreams with someone, your brain interprets as we've achieved this, and so your motivation levels go down. Okay. So I kind of I kind of stopped sharing, you know,
your goals
and goals.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not aware of the study, but
okay.
The conversations on how the brain works and studies into that continue. And so I'm hearing this for the first time.
Okay.
It's quite interesting that you mentioned that. And I guess that's where tapping into your personal power comes.
Yeah.
Discipline, commitment, knowing what's your truth right now. The truth is sometimes and I give you a personal example. When my kids were much younger, and I was a corporate, you know, the real or the definition of a corporate woman. So you'd wake up at dawn, rush through all of that. There was a time that I needed to stop and take a decision on what works for me in my career, what dreams to chase, because at that time, my truth, my true north, or what was real for me was very different from the other ladies that were journeying together. For them, it was okay to go chase particular things. I used to have a dream or a job that takes me around the world, you know, but at a certain stage in my life, my truth would not let me do that. Yeah. And I think it's coming to terms with that to say, where am I at now and what works for me? And that said, even when you say, these are the things, these are the outcomes I seek, what are the steps to getting you there? Yeah. And I think it's, for me, depending on your knowledge of yourself and what what level you are when it comes to tapping into your personal power, either doing it by yourself, having a support group, for instance, people on the same journey, like a professional network that challenges you, or sometimes it's actually somebody in your personal life, so like a spouse, if you have a teenage daughter.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that one. Yeah.
I know. Those ones can really keep you accountable, because if you think about it, and back to that same research, in our corporate lives, at the beginning of the year, we set our strategic objectives. These are the things we want to achieve. If we're taking that research at face value, it will be, okay, then once we state it and we go on that corporate retreat, it's done. But that's when the work actually begins. That's when the leaders now begin to have conversations with the team to say, okay, because we want to go here this year, or this destination this year, what must happen in your space on a monthly basis to make these things happen? And I think as individuals, there's some lesson in there for us as well, to say, okay, at the end of the year, this is what I want to see happen in my life. But based on that, what are the things that I must begin to do? What works to get me there?
How do we move from a mindset of we just want to survive? Because for the past 2 years, that's all it's been. We just want to survive, especially because of COVID-19, especially the year before, the one that we've just exited, because so many people were dying and we didn't know what the virus looked like and all of that. So you find that a lot of people are still in that mode that, you know, I just want to survive, I just want to make it through the day. But that's not really an achieving mode.
Is it not?
Is it? I mean, is it? Because
they're alive.
No, you know what I mean. I mean, in terms of staying alive, it's like, okay, I'm staying alive, but then
that's all I'm doing.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
So in terms of pushing through to the next, you know, how do we shift from that mindset? And in a way, yes, it is a goal, but it also gave us a certain, like Map said this morning, a certain laxity, because it's like, well, I just want to survive this, so I'm not going to work out. You know, I just want to survive this, so hey, I'm going to spend all my money because chalet, nobody knows tomorrow. You know? You know, how do we shift from that? Because obviously, like we're still alive, and the pandemic is still what it is, and we're moving forward. So how do we shift from that mindset to a mindset where we're able to plan and have goals and achieve?
And it's interesting that you asked that, because for me, yes, and I think the pandemic did do a lot of good if you think about it. On one side, there was quite a lot of devastation, and my deepest condolences to everybody who lost someone. I think all of us knew somebody, and we,
of course,
yes, so my deepest condolence. But I think that at a point, after we began to focus on, I think we began to focus on what really mattered.
Yeah.
Conversations with dear ones. Checking in and up on each other.
Spending quality time.
Absolutely, because suddenly we all felt that we understood what it meant to have limited time. And so we began to focus on that area. I saw people who began to make very great lifestyle choices. like eating right or healthy. And then for the first time, when I looked through my window, I actually saw more people than I had ever seen taking walks in the morning and evenings. And sometimes with people, I surmise their loved ones, going together. Yeah. So I think it forced us in one way, if we look at it, to focus on what really mattered then. And again, back to mind conversations. I think we have such a powerful operating system that even when you say to yourself, I'm just in survival mode, sometimes when you stand in the mirror and you observe your current circumstance, you're like, no, but Doreen, beyond survival, X needs to be done. I mean, fees will still be paid.
Yeah.
I still do need to eat healthy, and to have a healthy lifestyle comes with some. You need to pay for some of those things, you know. So then, how do I make that happen? And when you begin to feel that personal dissatisfaction with your current state of being in a particular area, then it's your mind's feedback telling you it's time to take action.
It's time to move. Yeah.
So for me, I like to tune into that mind conversation to say, and we all have it, actually, we do.
Yeah.
We all do have those conversations with ourselves. Sometimes, even with the young people in your life, it's like, I'm not happy, I'm bored. Their mind is giving them the feedback on. And so it's to have that conversation to say.
I don't understand when my children say I'm bored. Like, what does that mean? You're bored how? How are you bored? You have no problems, you're not paying any bill. Like, yeah, how are you bored?
But don't they have problems? I mean, cast our minds back to when we were teenagers. I mean, you felt like there were things I thought I should be able to do. And then in came my mom, Janet,
to come in. I'm bored means I don't have data.
Yeah, but they worry about different things. You know? I saw a video of a 2-year-old who says, "Mom, is the Wi-Fi working? My video is not playing." I'm like,
yeah. My son does it all the time to me, like, "Mommy, the internet's not working." I'm like, "Am I a telco?" I don't understand. Like,
Mommy, you're the magician.
No.
Yeah, you make everything possible.
You do.
All right, so we're done reflecting. Now we're going to 2022, third week when we're setting our goals. Take us through that.
We're not in the third week of.
No, I'm saying mentally, you know, mentally when we're setting our goals.
Max is determined to chill on this.
Of course. Okay. Right now, I'm not setting any goals. I'll set them at the end of the month, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is.
I challenge you. I think that she probably has said something already.
Don't mind it from last year.
It's like, oh, for this month or this week. I think that is because we say to ourselves, what must happen in 2022?
Yeah.
But I dare say that even before we step out of the house, a lot of us have a plan on what I want to make happen today. You know, so sometimes even before you step out, there are groceries to be paid. Who is picking this?
You kind of make a mental plan in your head of.
And if you put
day.
all of that together, it's driving you towards something that you actually do want to happen. You know, so maybe we don't. We're looking at it from a very structured point of view.
Yeah,
but we actually do.
Subliminally, we do.
We do.
Okay. So you have something for us. You're going to tell us how to do this, right?
Yes. How would you want us to do? Would you want us to go through the reflective questions and go to planning 2022? Or
No, let's do the reflective.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and I'm going to share from a very personal space how I do mine.
Okay.
So that it's and there are many ways to do it. People do this differently. And for me, I typically will start with grabbing my journal and a pen. But for those who would take notes on any note-taking device, they're welcome to do that as well. I often say get yourself a warm drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Some like to take a walk before it. But I say get comfortable. Sit in a place that you're very comfortable. You know?
So it has to be intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the word.
Because it's already sounding like work.
No, but
is it? Well, yeah. I mean,
see the differences in personality.
Like, is it? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to look for a journal. Like, okay, so I don't have a journal, so I'm not going to buy one.
Or you can use your phone.
My phone, I don't like typing on my phone.
What do you like to? Where do you store all the data?
In my head. Okay. Except that as the years are going, you find that the thing.
Or you can use a recorder. Because you like to talk a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can use a recorder, you know?
You can use a recorder.
Yeah?
You can.
You can. Like just speak into give yourself a lecture. Then it means that you play back every so often. Oh, I think I like the sound of that. That's yeah. You see, good friends who know you. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. I think all we're saying is personalize it, make it work for you.
Yeah.
Because I've heard someone say that their deepest reflective moments are when they take a walk. But I also know someone who says, you know that drive, especially when you have little children.
Yeah. You go and like shut the time.
Yeah.
Me time. Yeah.
But someone also said to me that, and she was very specific. She says, you know that drive from Winneba to Anumabo.
Okay. That's a very specific.
That's a very, yeah.
Okay.
You know, and she's like, you drive slowly. You can't be bothered about the traffic.
Yeah.
And you just take it all in. I'm like, really? Okay. So all we're saying is make it personal to you. Do what works for you as you get through that. And I always start my reflective moments with a prayer of gratitude. And when I do it in a team, I say, let's have a prayer circle. You know. So then one person starts it with one sentence of gratitude. Maybe we should try that.
Okay. Sure, why not? Yeah, okay.
All right, so I'll start that where I'll start and then we'll go to
maps.
Okay, I'm left-handed, so we'll go to maps.
Okay, sure.
And then we come to Enigma, and then it's a circle, so it ends with me.
Okay.
All right, so I say, dear Lord Father, thank you for the gift of life and the breath that flows inside me. It was your first gift to me at creation, and I'm thankful that I still have it.
All right, dear Lord Father, thank you for the gift of my mom, her support system throughout these past years. Yeah.
Okay, dear Lord Father, thank you for the gift of family and the gift of strength and your presence, which has been with me always.
Yeah, and thank you, Father, for an opportunity like this to share a reflective walk with a wider audience so that together we can learn, grow, and be better for each other. That's our prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen.
That's very...
I love it.
That's very calm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So if you, I mean, once you have more than one person, you can just have that conversation.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about gratitude.
There is.
It just, it makes everything enough.
It makes you want to cry.
That's just like, okay.
All right, so once we're done with the prayer of gratitude, then we go into, again, but still on gratitude, but now we go deeper. So we've thanked our Maker for life. But and I'm just going to be sharing questions that people can note, and later, if it's possible, they can go back to these questions.
Okay.
But one of my favorite reflexive questions are 5 things that I feel grateful for.
Can I have this when you're done?
Absolutely.
I'd love that. So that we can actually do it properly. Yeah.
So, and we can share it with the audience. I mean, 5 things that you feel grateful for. And this can be an experience, it can be an event, it can be with people or thing. But what are those 5 things that in the current period you feel really, really grateful for?
Okay.
Then we move quick.
So this is the reflective stage. And you can do this often?
Yes, you can. You can. You can do that, especially with gratitude.
Yeah.
I know people who keep a gratitude journal. Especially people going through one, either they're experiencing self-issues or they're going through early stages of not feeling enough or some sorry. Gratitude helps with that. So those are the gratitude questions that we can.
What 5 things do you feel grateful for?
Absolutely. And then there's another one that I like. What negative outcomes did you avoid, escape, or prevent, or turn into something positive? So still on gratitude. What are those things for you in 2021 that you avoided or turned into something positive?
Okay.
And
that's a great, that's a really great question. Yeah.
And so you see that once you think about this question, you can actually record to say, yeah, in March, in May, and
Kind of. Okay.
And so back on gratitude, so we're going through our reflective questions. I'll go to a quote from the author William Arthur Ward. And William says, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present.
And not giving it.
So
you are getting us very emotional this morning.
So still on gratitude as we reflect. So
So the moment this comes to mind, I go to the people I owe gratitude for the year.
Okay.
So who are those people that I know I owe gratitude that I haven't given?
Okay.
Like I've wrapped the gifts, but I haven't delivered.
I have to give, yeah.
So I either make a call, and often I make a list so that I don't forget. So I make a call, I send text messages.
Yeah.
Now the visits are limited, but often when you go, otherwise if you went to them and say, and if the person is really a personal person, is to go and say, anyway, you know, when we had that conversation, it was a life-changing conversation for me. I say thank you.
Yeah.
And there's something about what it does to a relationship and to you.
Of course.
Yeah, and so
when you show gratitude, I get that. I started doing that. I think 3 years ago. At the end of every year, I'll buy a few cards, and then I would just write a note. So I would always, at the end of the year, look back on the people that have made the most.
So you see, you're already doing it.
Yeah, the most impact, and then and then say thank you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the other reflective questions, and we're just going to run through them. I like this one in particular. It says,
Jesus, Lord, hallelujah.
Who do you need to set free? What do you need to let go of? You know, I like the who one.
The who one. The who one.
Often, I have realized that sometimes the person doesn't even know, and you're carrying it.
Yeah.
You know, and there are two conversations on this. Sometimes you do genuinely know that even going to have a liberating conversation with this person won't work.
Yeah.
Yet you're holding on to this, and the conversation keeps popping in your head, and you know, and all the time it's you, and you're walking around really free. When I do my reflective sessions, I ask myself that question: who do I really need to set free? If there's anyone like that, to say, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go have that liberating conversation that says, anymore? I value our relationship so much, and so I feel that I need to say this to you. When we had that conversation I felt really angry. I felt disrespected. And I thought I would let you know, because I really want this relationship to continue. What will really be helpful when we have conversations, or when you want to give me feedback, is to... So I made it I
was just going to comment on the fact that you use that strategy. Yeah, you're using that.
It's
the
I feel.
Yeah.
And then I give them a positive reaction that I want back. So it's not like, next time don't do this, don't do that. That has happened. But I felt, I feel. And then I say that positive outcome that I'm seeking from them when that happens the next time, so that at least they know what it is that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But for some, I know that it's pointless.
It
won't work.
So before the pandemic, I used to have this exercise I would do in a group, where we would, and we've done it twice, but I got this gift from one of my coach friends, Ivy Malco of Stambik, and she walks us through this very powerfully, because then she makes a fire, like a small fire pot, like a coal pot. And then you write what it is that you want to let go of.
Yeah. And then you burn it.
And then you stand by the fire's place, you read it, and set it ablaze. It's like, done. You know, does that mean the conversation will not pop? It comes every now and then.
Of course.
But then you remind it to say, I'm done. We burnt it. Over. And over the period, just because you know you won't. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's two things. You're setting yourself free by having that liberating conversation, or you're letting go.
You let it go.
And sometimes it's forgiving yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Say,
that's a big one.
Okay, it didn't work. I messed up. So, okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
I like what one of my very good friends says. She says, and that's Pastor Celia Apieje Collins.
Okay.
She says, failure is an event. It's not a person.
Okay.
So
it's something that happens.
Yeah.
Like we went to eat wache, you know, we failed. Not to eat wache, like the same way as we went to eat wache as an event.
Yeah.
We failed as an event, and
we'll move. Yeah, we'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah. Except that there are consequences of failure sometimes that stay, and then.
So that's when you ask yourself the question, what were the insights and what were my coping mechanisms or coping strategies? What were my bounce back strategies? You know, because those ones have happened, but in there were lessons. So what were my bounce back strategies? What did I learn from that?
From those things.
You know, and I like this one on stories we tell ourselves. So again, it's to ask, what's the one story you're willing to let go of? You know, that belief in your head that it just keeps popping up and only you hear it, but it's become a story that you have believed.
I have one. At the end of last year, I was telling one of my friends that one of the stories I've told myself over the past few years, because especially of the kind of work that we do and the team that I've always found myself, is I always felt like I'm not enough. And also because for a long time, almost the time, I'm the only woman in a team and you know, the men are here. And I'm like, I've always told myself, you know, I'm not enough, I'm not, you know, I've like, you know, and at the end of a few days ago, actually, I was like, actually, you know what? I'm a badass.
Yes.
You know, and I don't
Tell me
have to
about
look
it.
like, I think we measure success or we measure who we are by how other people look, especially in a team. You know, and we don't always value people who are different or who think differently or who like to do things differently. So it sounds glam being like the non-conformist or the one who is different, but living that reality can be a little difficult. So
And I like what you said about not valuing diversity. It ties back into the conversation we had in the morning before we got here on personality differences. It's to say, yeah, this person is strong at this, and it's great, but these are the things I'm also great at. You know.
So different folks for different strokes, different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely. So what's that one story? You think about it. And to say, is it serving me, or I need to really let it go? You know, it's and one that has come to visit me a lot recently is to say, what if it doesn't work? Because I'm starting a new project. And what if it doesn't work? And I'm like, well, I learned, but I'm the daughter of a king. I've got a very big backing behind me. Watch this space.
So what if it does work?
What if it does work?
Absolutely. You know. So what's that story? It's to identify it and begin to have counter conversations with it, you know. And then what behavior is not serving you that you want to let go? You know?
Yes, Maps.
What behavior is serving you? What behavior? Okay, for TV purposes, I think being too friendly.
For TV purposes?
One of them is being too friendly. Sorry, too friendly. It's not serving me because I think I allow a lot of people into my space and they take advantage of my energy. So I'm so friendly and I want to, you know, oh, Doreen, how are you? You know, everything okay? Well, how's home? And then you tell me all about this. And then by the end of the day, I feel so drained and nobody to actually...
Like when I'm going somewhere with Maps, a simple exercise, like walking from here to 100 meters down the road to buy cocoa. She'll have about 5 meetings. People ask them about their mothers, their fathers, their children.
I think that's one.
And I'm just looking at her like,
behavior. That's
why are we doing this? Like, we just, you know.
To be fair to her, it probably says its place in the space.
It does. It definitely does.
And I'm not sure where I read this, but I know that I have seen this before. But I think what the lady said she began to do is actually to tell people. So if she's assuming you were actually going to a place with anyone, say, I'll be back around this time and we'll have that conversation so that it's not a stop.
Okay.
The fact that you've actually picked it up, this is a good place to start.
And the good thing is you have an accountability partner. So as we're walking, I'll be reminding you.
It's not, I don't want to talk about this right now, but we'll catch up later.
We'll come back.
Thing.
I'm just popping down to do this, so we'll make time and we'll have this.
Absolutely.
Then,
absolutely.
I like that. I like that.
That works.
So that's another reflective question. One of my absolute favorites. What keeps you? What's your best way to stay grounded? What keeps you sane?
Being broke.
Sleeping.
Absolutely.
Sleeping.
Yeah, you like sleeping.
I do.
Is that
I slept my way through through the new year. I like sleeping.
Is that your refueling activity or your grounding activity?
It's also my deflecting, and I'm not going to deal with
Just
any of this.
I'm
going to sleep.
But when you wake up,
she just
So again, it's to say, it's actually to tune into yourself to say, what do I do to stay sane when the ground underneath me feels like it's moving? What do I need?
Oh, I know what I do. Yeah. Okay. So but are those different? What's your best way to stay grounded and what do you do to refuel?
Refueling for me, it's So you've come to the place where you know I've had it, I'm tired. I'm actually, for me, one trigger is I can't be creative.
Okay.
No matter how hard I try, then my body tells me I'm tired.
You're tired.
I've had enough. What do I do during that time?
So it's different. Staying grounded is different from
staying grounded. It's what keeps you sane, what keeps you firm to. So I'll give you an example to make it work. For me, the things that I do to actually stay grounded, I love to pray and meditate quite a bit.
Okay.
I also like to, I learned I think about 3 years ago, breathing exercises that draw me into myself. So like just sitting down, like nothingness.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to think that I didn't I got my energy from the crowd. But as I grew, I realized actually,
No, yeah.
actually get my energy from
just being alone.
So nothingness. So that and nothing, praying and nothingness, actually. But refueling, what gets my energy back up? I have 3 girlfriends.
Okay.
That every other month we go out. Happy New Year, Pearl. Happy New Year, Shady. Happy New Year, Franca.
Happy New Year, girl.
Yeah, so every other month we go out. And the moment we sit in an open space. We just order a bottle of wine. And we begin to check up on each other, what's happening at work, in our personal lives. And Franca is the loud-mouthed one. So she gives it to Pearl, who is another loud-mouthed one. But you were wrong.
Yeah.
You did it, so it's...
And then it's fun and
it's fun.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
So those ones for me really, really work for me.
So refueling, I was going to ask you, so refueling can be a person.
It can.
Yeah.
It can. It can be that activity that brings back the energy up. For me, another refueling activity will be watching movies.
Okay.
Oh yes. I haven't done that in a very long time, but when I do get a good movie and the smell of popcorn in your house. It's divine. So
extra butter. Oh, yeah.
Healthy eating.
Refueling.
We're refueling.
Wow.
Yeah, so that for me. So it's to have that conversation, to say, what do I do? What are my triggers as an individual? So that, because you can't drive your car when the tank is empty.
Yeah.
But as individuals, we do that to ourselves. We know the car will get messed up, but we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
What do we do? And I think I picked this from Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast. But he says, what made you feel happy? And what took joy away from you?
Oh, yeah.
And what made you feel happy so that you can do more of those?
Yeah.
And what took joy away from me is to say, what can I do to prevent those things from happening in my space?
Yeah.
Or what are my coping strategies if I can do anything about it?
Again, this can also be people.
Yes.
Yeah.
My thing about people, what happens when they're not there? Like if I'm going to a Nima to refuel, what happens when a Nima's not there? Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You get it's like
the dependency.
The dependency.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But I have found, again, back to conversations on personalities, they're actually people who are wired to give that to other people.
Okay.
But then they need to find for themselves what is it that for them.
Okay.
Because whereas people draw from them, maybe for them that's not what we
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So it's for them to find what is it for them. But on people coming and going, or people going, the song that Mama V played this morning, the motivational tune was "People come, people go."
You kind of just have to.
It is what it is.
I think the thing with with people and refueling is maybe understanding and acknowledging that the source of fuel, depending on what you believe in, is unchanging, unending, and doesn't go anywhere. Absolutely. And so, if the primary source is God, and you trust that there will always be people that are from Him.
That's
to be there for
I
you
get it.
every time and season. And I think for me, one of the biggest things I've learned about refueling from people is that at every different level of my life, the people who refuel me are different. Because capacities have changed,
Absolutely.
demons have changed. Thing, so
Absolutely.
I think it's accepting that there will always be, like maps won't always be here, for me.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because while she's here, we have what we have.
Yeah.
Trust that when she moves on to the next stage of her life, she won't be replaced, but God will bring
somebody
else.
Yeah. It's like finding rest in that kind of.
And it's beautiful that you mentioned that, because as you spoke, what popped into my mind was the various fuel stations we have.
Yeah.
And depending on what destination you're going to,
you're going to a different one.
Yeah.
Then depending on the ones that have reduced the prices too.
You go to that
So,
different needs.
What route are you on currently? And what are the refueling stops along the way?
Yeah. And it's also, I don't know if you've read the what's the title? The Greatest Man in Babylon, or
yes,
something like that. You know, he talks about going to the right people for the right thing. So if your shoe is broken, you don't go to the goldsmith. If you know, so knowing who in your life is there for.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
For what? Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my favorite friends, Taka Awori. So when I'm in that low space, I actually call out to her and I'm like, I don't know what to do to be happy. I don't know how to have fun. Yeah. She's like, really? She helps me reframe my thoughts.
Yeah.
And so she's that safe space for me all the time. So Happy New Year, Taka.
We're going to charge you for your Happy New Year. You've done 5 so far.
4.
Okay, 4. Fine. All right.
Count it.
The 3 girls
3 squad and then Taka.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, how do I pay my bill? Because when you say something, I have to start billing you.
What took joy away?
What took joy
away?
Yeah, what made you feel most happy? And what took joy away from you? And I like how Jay Shetty did this one in his podcast. He says because he takes a lot of pictures, he goes through his phone, his pictures to kind of recollect memories.
Okay.
I don't take a lot of pictures, so I kind of sat back to say, okay, what are those things? And I find that because I kind of write a lot, for me going through that right piece brings me back, so that I'm not focusing just on the now, to say throughout the year, because what you want to be able to do is to see how you can replicate those moments or those things that give you a lot of happiness. So I think, again, back to individual differences, what made you feel happy and what took joy away from you. Yeah.
Okay.
And wins and losses. Yeah. What were your biggest wins? Anytime we talk biggest wins, you see the smiles on people's faces.
Oh, really? My biggest win is staying alive in 2021.
I don't have a win or a big win.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, but we pulled some moves 2021, Charlie.
So let's go back to Jan and begin to
So I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
Like hard. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like what you said, actually staying alive, surviving, and being in the mental frame to actually have this conversation alone and give back to people on a regular. I admire what you guys do, because I know that as human beings, we go through our valley moments and our peak seasons. But no matter what season the people on TV and radio are, you have to psych yourself, and you're like, it's almost like you're on a constant high.
Yeah. I texted Echo this morning, I was like, Charlie, I know they won't come with today. Like, I really don't want to.
I can imagine.
Talking about biggest wins, I just want to add to what you're saying. That so if you're counting your life on a scale of 0 to 10, sometimes a biggest win can be coming back from the negative, just back to base level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't celebrate that enough.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're so right. It's to say, I actually went through this, and I thought I was going to get drowned, but I bounced back.
I'm floating.
I'm floating.
Like, I'm just floating. Yeah. I'm not swimming, I'm just floating. Yeah. But I did. Yeah.
So now that I'm floating, what's the next? Will I cruise floating for a moment, and then when I get my energy back, I begin to swim to the shore. So what is it from here? But at least I'm here.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that win. Yeah, and then I like the other one that speaks to what did you feel you failed at in 2022? We've spoken about this earlier. The lessons and your bounce back strategies, so that you can. It's to celebrate yourself. To say, again, I did here.
And to learn from your foolishness.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, yo.
Absolutely.
Been here before, done this. Are you going to do it again? Like,
definitely not.
Yo.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we're still reflecting. I like this one. I got this from, I had a conversation with this young man about 3 weeks ago, and it was our first meeting. His name is Adam. And he shared these.
Shout out to Adam, no? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Adam 5. He's Adam Jobo, he's the brands manager at Payflex. And he shared his this as his reflection for 2021 with me. And I asked him, can I use it as well? And he says, oh, go ahead. But he says, what opportunities exist in what's not working in your current space? So if you think at your current space and what's not working, what are the opportunities therein?
Okay.
But then he flips the coin immediately and says, what opportunities might you be missing from dwelling on what's not working? And I thought those were two powerful questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So in the mess, what's the opportunity? But what am I missing by focusing on the mess? So
yeah.
For
Get that.
Yes, for the people listening and watching as well, this would be a powerful, reflective question. I like this one on people.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
What associations are holding you back?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. A few names popped up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few names popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's to have the conversation again for yourself to say, okay, this is how I'm going to approach this going forward.
Yeah.
Because you know that it's energy sapping. You know that it's not working for you. That you haven't taken action. But the flip side, what alliances and partnerships will be productive for you in 2022? And I like that so very much. One of my favorite friends says it this way. She says that oxygen on its own fuels fires.
Yeah.
You know, but when it combines with hydrogen, it's
water.
It quenches fire.
Yeah.
So you know, what are those partnerships that you need for the next stage in your life?
That's a very good question. Yeah.
Is to have that conversation and then begin
nurturing those relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or actually reaching out and starting that to say, we met at this place and you said this and you mentioned the particular book and I was wondering, can I have that and read?
I don't like getting to know new people.
Oh.
It's a big problem. I'm sorry. No. Like, I think, I don't know, you tell me, like when you get to a certain, I hate when I ask a question that has to do with age, but when you get past a certain, you know, is it natural to just not want to, you start new, like, it's long.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I think we get.
Or is that personality?
I was going to say that, but I was going to quote something that one of my, there's a professor in psychology, and I had dinner with him in 2021, and he said, he quoted from a recent research in psychology, and he said more and more they're finding that when you hit a particular stage, often from your late 40s to 50s, you actually tune into who you originally are.
Okay.
So all those, I need to be this for this person, I need to be this, you suddenly realize, well, this is the life.
Because you see, you notice old people are very cantankerous.
Yeah.
We won't do, we won't go, we are
like whatever.
This is who
Okay, so you actually tune into who you actually are. And so suddenly, you only want those alliances that are productive. And the key word is actually productive. So for some people, meeting new people is productive for them. For others, it's, I need to be really, really deliberate. You know, and for some, the moment they sit at the table, they talk about everything from beginning to end, and you get to know them. For others, it's one question at a time. So I guess it's to know you and what works for you, so that you can use that at the table. One of my clients once said, I can't have conversations at the table when I meet new people. And I said, use the old trick that we all use. She's like, what's that? I'm like, just ask a question.
Yeah.
You know? And then get the people now to speak, instead of you thinking, okay, what do I need to talk about?
Well, what's about if you're not really interested in what they have to say?
Maybe you're in the wrong crowd.
Well, okay, maybe
Maybe you're in the wrong crowd, or maybe it's just the context, what they're talking about. It's not your kind of context.
Okay.
And the typical networking event, you move into one circle, you realize that's not it, so you move into another.
Until you find your circle.
Find your circle. And,
yeah.
Networking is not for you.
Networking events.
I'll probably find someone in every circle. So
you would. I can't do the networking event at all.
It's like, yo, what's up? You know,
I admire people like that so much, you know, who can go to an event and go from one place. In the first place, I don't want to go to the event.
Okay.
Go from one place, so it's very nice. And I experience that a lot with MAPS, like just, yeah.
So it's to tag along people like MAPS for such events,
I'll probably leave her and just sit there. Or watch The Good Doctor or something. Be like, Chale, we are ready.
Let's go, yeah. Or I find typically for me, it's one table. I find that the moving around, it's not me. But when I sit at one table, and even the context of the conversation is not, it's totally outside my space. But it's just hearing people speak so passionately about something that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
Isn't that what TEDx talks are for, which you can do?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're like, I know nothing about this.
TEDx.
Like, this is like such a new experience, such a new feeling. Yeah.
Wikipedia.
But you see, the thing is that with YouTube and TEDx, you don't have the luxury of like asking follow-up questions.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, what did you just say? What does that even mean?
You can ask Google the follow-up question.
Oh, no, that's a lot of work.
At the beginning of the conversation, you said your 2-year-old was saying, your young son was saying, Wi-Fi isn't working.
Yeah.
Now we know who's using it.
Now we know. Thank you. Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about personality differences and stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, how important, since we're talking about networking, because it comes up a lot, I mean, how important is it to go out and have these interactions? Is TEDx, YouTube, is it not enough? That's a networking event. Do you have to go out and interact with people? Like, do you have to?
I don't purposely go out to meet people, but by virtue of the work I do, I always or often find myself in circles of new people. And I find that it's in that space that my productive alliances are built. So somebody is organizing a session or a program, and I have to go give a keynote address or speak to something, or I partner another coach or trainer for a program, and I meet new people. So I can count on my fingers real networking events, as in networking that I've been to, but such programs are quite a lot. And so just getting to meet the people. Then often what I do when I get the cards or a phone number or an email, I often would drop them either a text via WhatsApp, it was great meeting you, and something like that. Some of them progress. And some of them die off naturally. Okay. But I think for me, so I think in your space, you probably meet people in your circles that work for you.
I can be completely oblivious to everybody who I meet at work. I think it's bad. I think.
So I say, I don't know if I would use bad or good. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But I wanted to ask you something. It's a little bit off, but I want you to answer this for the women who want to date. And I know I may be taking you off a little bit, but a lot of women who have, said that, okay, 2022, we're going to start dating, we're going to find the man of our dreams, we're going to do that and all of that. But they want to do it in their homes. And I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues here, and she was talking to me, and I was like, so are you expecting this person to jump into your house and come and meet you in your house? If you can just, talk to us. I know it's a little bit off, but I also know that on the hearts and minds of many women, they're hoping to meet that someone special. How much of that finding someone special is on you, on you being willing to go out and put yourself out there? You just leave it to fate and say, my knight in shining armor will find me at Medina Market, or or something.
Yeah. No, so I'm not a relationship expert, but I can speak to two real examples. So a few years ago, it must have been 6 years ago, I met this young lady, and I thought she was really passionate about jazz.
Okay.
About what?
Jazz.
Okay.
So there's a jazz concert, and I'm like, so one day I said, I admire your love for jazz. She says, my love for jazz. The kind of guy I want to date is somebody who loves jazz, who dresses like. So that's where I go.
Wow. Okay. You see, the thing I was telling you that don't marry for money.
Go where money is and you find love there.
Yeah. Okay.
For her, that was
her
strategy. She's going to those places to find the kind of person. It obviously means that this young woman has taken time to think what this person is, and is going to the places where they can find them.
Okay.
So I think for those people, I would say, where is it? Who are you looking for? Where are they?
Where are they? So go where they are.
You go to the ocean or the river to fish.
Yeah.
So obviously.
But the Bible said, "He who finds a wife."
So there's a finding.
Then why do we just sit at home and be under a duvet and be found?
No,
it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like
That's
that.
a hidden wife. I'm just thinking, and I'm just thinking. I think that going where or having those conversations or being in places where you can be found will probably really work. That's what I think. I'm sure the relationship, maybe you can table that for a conversation at a later.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll let you run through quickly as we continue, but what we want to do is we want to open the phone lines, want to bring our viewers in, because I'm sure you have questions, things you want to clarify, things you want to ask Auntie Doreen.
You just couldn't,
I couldn't resist. Things that you want to ask Doreen. So call us, give us a call. The numbers are on the screen, 0302211691, 0302211692. What do you want to know from what we're talking about? What are your thoughts? What are your questions? During the conversation, we'd love to have you. So whilst we're waiting to do that, we can
we flip to the goal setting bit?
Let's flip to the goal setting.
There are a few more, but we can share the questions with viewers later.
Yes.
But let's go to the goal setting questions. I often start the goal setting stage with 3 words. I learned this in 2007 from a guy called Chris Brogan. He's an author, and he says every year he thinks of the year he wants to have. To say, okay, what are those 3 words?
I love that.
Yeah. And I found it really powerful. So I've been practicing it since 2007.
Okay. I know my 3 words. Money, money, money.
That's all. That's all.
So reminds me of a conversation I had with my daughter. I'm like, we're taking the love language quiz. And I'm like, she said, I don't need to. I know my love language. Money. I said, yeah, but there's a secondary. Money.
Tertiary. Money. Thank you.
And he says that these 3 words are often words that guide your actions and choices in the coming year. So if you think of 2022 and the kind of year you want to have, and this calls for us to reflect on actually what kind of year we want to have.
I love that.
What 3 words will guide my choices and actions on a day-to-day basis?
Career, money, and relationships.
So the bit on money, so the words have to be actionable.
Okay.
What are actionable words? Give us some examples.
So I will use, for me, breathe this year is one of my words.
Okay. So breathe.
To breathe. I want to remind myself throughout the year in my actions and my choices to breathe.
Yeah. So bam bam would be
yeah.
Want to bam bam?
You want to chill with the big boy?
Yeah, you go to the bam bam.
Okay. Work.
Okay.
Work. Yeah. Let's leave it there for now. Work.
So that's my first. My second is impact.
Impact. Okay.
Impact. Influence.
Yeah.
The 3 I's. Hey. Impact, influence, income.
Hey.
But you people want to chill with the big boys. Should we speak to Raymond just as we're doing this? Hi, Raymond. Good morning. Oh, we lost Raymond. Okay. So please call us 0302-211-691 or 692. Call us and be part of this conversation. We'd love to have you. So pick your 3 words.
Yeah. So mine, it's breathe. It's impact, and I'm struggling with the third. I still haven't decided.
Okay.
I've thought of package, I've thought of act, and I've thought of brand.
Okay.
So I'm still thinking what the third one is, but those 2 I'm definitely sure. I'm going full time into what used to be a side hustle.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for me, it's breathe, because I tend to be one who just keeps going. Like I'm afraid to get off the treadmill. FOMO, they call it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. So I just keep going. But I want to remind myself throughout the year. So it's accepting that not every client is mine and things like that.
Okay, so should we talk to Rosalind?
Absolutely.
And then, hi, Rosalind. Good morning.
Hello?
Oh, hi. That's not Rosalind. Hello, what's your name?
I'm called Martin, calling from Water Region.
Okay, hi. What's up? What's on your mind?
Oh, I want to thank your resource person this morning is blessing me. You know, sometimes we just do statistics. Hello?
Yes, we're listening to you.
Hello?
Hi, we're listening to you.
Yeah, I am blessed by the resource person.
Amen.
Sometimes
Thank you so much.
we just encounter certain failure and then we relax. So I would like to encourage her to give us more so that we can also move ahead in this year.
Okay.
And finally,
Thank you so
I
much.
want her contact number so that we can have access to her.
Okay, sure. We'll put out her information and when we're done with this segment on the
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone, you are doing well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a fantastic new year. Okay, so do we have Rosalind?
Yes, please. Rosalind
Oh,
online.
hi, Rosalind. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
Happy New Year.
Enimwa.
Hi,
Hello,
Happy New Year.
Enimwa. Today I'm so happy to speak to you.
Oh, I'm so happy to speak to
Yes,
you too.
I've always been listening to your voice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So what's on your mind?
Actually, 2022 has just begun. Yes, and we have a lot to do. As one of your panel members said, it is too early to make decisions. I will take our time and give ourselves a month and put our plans together and see what is ahead of us. But it's good, your English program every morning. That is what I always encourage. It is really, really important to me and my kids.
Oh, thank you so much.
Keep doing the good work you've been doing.
Thank you so much.
Keep doing the good work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
so
very much. And Happy New Year to you
Happy New
all.
Year to you too, Rosalind.
Thank you.
Oh, I know, right? Phone lines are still open, 020-221-691 or 692. Okay, so should we go on?
Yes. So we've spoken about the 3 words.
Yeah.
You didn't mention your 3 words.
Because I haven't, apart from I want to bam bam and chill with the big boys. And when I say big boys, I don't mean like chill with men. I'm talking about like chilling with the millionaires, like bam bamming with the millionaires. Not as in like bam bamming, I'm a woman, they're a man, but like business deals and like bossing them around and telling them that yo.
One of the words, can deal be a word?
Deal. Yeah, deal.
Deals.
Yes. Deal.
Yeah.
No running kitty.
Yeah, no. So deals. Okay.
Yeah.
So you write those 3 words and you put it at a place where you can actually see them on a daily.
Yeah.
Some put it as a screensaver.
Yeah.
Others as a background in for their desktop.
Their laptops.
But just make sure that you're interacting with those words throughout the year. It's breathe. It's impact. It's package, brand. It's influence. It's income. Just think your 3 words and stay with it, because when we come to reflect, God willing, end of this year, we'll go back to those 3 words.
Let me talk to Edmund quickly. Hi, Edmund. Good morning. Edmund. Edmondo. Edmund, are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Edmund. Okay, so what's on your mind? Good morning, welcome, Happy New Year.
Hello.
Hi.
It's my first time seeing you, right? Yes, I'm there.
Okay, hi, hello.
Hi. I said it's my first time seeing you.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've been listening to you most of the time on radio.
Oh.
And you've inspired me. I've never seen your face before.
Oh, thank you so much.
I learn a lot from you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So,
Thank you so
2022, we'll keep hope alive, and I know it is well.
Indeed.
It is well. In fact, your voice alone.
Hey, Edmund.
Okay, Edmund.
Oh,
Edmund, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Really
too.
appreciate it.
Thank you
Happy
too.
New Year. Let's keep hope alive. Yeah, I like that. Let's keep hope.
Impact, influence is what I'm hearing come for you.
Bam bam.
Yeah,
bam,
right.
bam. We want to bam bam. Okay, so let's. Okay, there's Osman. Maps, do you want to take this?
Osman, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
How are you, sir?
I'm grateful.
All right, so 2022, what are your plans for this year?
Yeah, COVID has come to our way.
COVID has come.
COVID, we are still in the midst of COVID. And what I can see now is, may the good Lord give us the strength and then compact the gone souls. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May the good Lord give us strength indeed. But now let's talk about areas of life important to you.
Yeah, so part of the goal setting for 2022, after you've come up with the 3 words, I want our listeners and viewers to take so if you're using a journal, fine, but to list, if you think of your life, and you think of the areas important to you, what would those areas be? I just want them to list them out.
Okay.
After they've listed them out, I'll take us through a very simple goal-setting strategy on these areas. So what are those words for you? They are common ones that I see on a regular basis, and those ones often are finances, emotions, fun and recreation, learning, career, business, health and fitness, personal development, contribution, community, relationships, love.
Love.
Yeah.
Love.
Love. What's love got to do with it?
Oh.
We are looking for money.
But a second-hand emotion.
You know, family.
Yeah, family.
Yeah, so people list different areas. But I would just ask our viewers to list those ones that are important to them. For me this year, top on the list, fun and adventure.
Fun and adventure.
Or recreation. Let's just start with recreation. Fun and recreation.
Sleep is recreation.
Yes.
Staying at home watching Netflix is recreation.
No, for me, sleep would be one. Netflix, maybe every now and then. But going out, actually, is one of them.
All right.
You know, so those
going out. Okay, let me talk to Raymond and then we'll come and finish up. So Raymond is going to be my last caller for this morning. Hi, Raymond.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So what's on your mind? Raymond.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
You're looking good this morning.
Thank you so much. What's on your mind, Raymond?
Yeah. Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I just want us to look at this networking. Yes, and with the networking, sometimes networking is all about getting to know people and then liaising with them, so that at least, well, as you put it, where there are connections and deals, you could really be getting those kind of connections. But then, until you are able to get to that connection where you can really be able to link that, it takes some time. And the time that it will take you to really create that contact, sometimes it takes too long, and it kind of, because of the time it will take and what you need to put in to really make that impact. Along the way, there's a break of communication due to busy schedules here and there. How do we really get that connection, that social networking working effectively?
Okay, so how do we bridge the gap between your busy schedule and trying to network with other people? That's your question, right?
Yes, please.
All right. So, I totally get Raymond, because it's like I have like friends like all over the world, and I'm trying to, see this one or talk to this one, book a FaceTime with this one, but also I'm at work, I woke up at dawn, and I also want to sleep. So how do I maneuver around this, but to make sure that I have meaningful conversations or relationships with my people?
And I think that's a powerful question, I'll answer it from a professional networking perspective.
Okay.
But also from a personal life perspective. So for those that are in your professional networking bracket or bucket, there are a number of tools that help us do that. I mean, it's finding some research, depending on where you went to. and what you know interests you. So for me, things that are really, really of interest to me will be anything around personality and self-leadership.
Okay.
So if I found something on that, I would take probably the quote or the article and share in a broadcast format to say, hey, I found this and I thought you'd be interested in that. That's from a very professional perspective.
Okay.
But there are those ones in that bracket that you want to nurture a personal relationship with. And that takes a very different strategy. Sometimes it's actually meeting them at an event that they would be, to say, the person says, oh, I'm not available, but I'm facilitating this program on this time. If you don't mind, we can have coffee after the event, or we can have lunch together. And those ones work. So I don't think there's one strategy to say this is it, but like anything, what you don't till or what you don't cultivate will die.
Will die.
You know,
so I have some really good news for our viewers. I think more especially, we kind of just thought we really don't want to rush through, all the work that you're showing to us and stuff. So we would love to have you back tomorrow. So that we're not rushing through the growth and the setting goals.
Okay.
So that then we can, use the time to really focus
on the reflective.
And I think that it's been so great. I'm going to spend some time today with the questions and stuff, and it's we're grateful.
We're grateful.
We're grateful.
So we're grateful for Doreen.
Yeah, we're grateful.
And her knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
And for having her on the air.
And for your time.
Yes.
Thank you. And I learned. So a few years ago, I when somebody shared their gratitude, the gift of gratitude to me, I wasn't sure how to respond. Like, okay, what do I do? Yeah. But then I learned this from somebody else I really admire, and she said, I gracefully accept that.
Oh,
I'm like,
I gracefully accept that.
I gracefully accept that gratitude.
That's
Thank
really
you so
nice.
much.
I would really say thank you for seeing me.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
Yeah. I'll borrow that as well. Thank you for having me, and thank you for, I gracefully accept your compliments.
We gracefully, All right, guys. So that's it for this conversation. But we will continue tomorrow because we want to have an amazing. We want to bam. Yeah, 2022. So, okay. So as we ease off slowly into the year, there are many expectations of government and Ghanaians. Today we're going to have a chit chat with the Executive Director for Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa and former General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong. When we come back from this break, Mapitso Sabidi will be having that conversation with him. Actually, okay, we're not going to go on a break. I'm just going to hand over right to Maps as she's going to have a conversation with Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong on the expectations that we have of 2022 and the expectations that we have of the government.
Rev, good morning. And Happy New Year. If you can hear me, please unmute yourself.
I hope it's okay now.
Yes, it's perfect. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Oh, good morning, and let's have a very beautiful year.
We hope that the government will provide all the necessary things for us to have a new year and a fantastic year, right?
I hope so.
All right, so let's talk about expectations. 2021 was very interesting. I mean, it was the second year of the pandemic, and all of these things that the government were trying to, give us, every time it was an excuse of COVID. But COVID has been with us, and COVID is going to be with us for a very long time. 2022, what are some of the things we should expect?
Let me thank you and your team for the opportunity and just say that, as we say in Christian circles, Ebenezer, we have come such far by grace. Yes, like you mentioned, COVID is a terrible thing. And with all the challenges we have witnessed, not only in this country, elsewhere, through it all, God has been good. And our leaders have also done well in terms of managing the crisis, making effort for us to have vaccine, and we should not take that for granted. So we still commend our leaders, all those who have been educating us, and Ghanaians in general, who have also taken the pandemic as serious as possible and making work a bit easier for our leaders and the health professionals.
Yeah.
But moving into the future, we must keep hope alive. We must keep safe. We must be conscious of the fact that we are living in a pandemic.
And we're living in a pandemic, and we will probably continue to live in the pandemic for the next 5 years. So we need to, I think, at some point in our lives, move away from this whole, it's a pandemic, and start, delivering or fulfilling our promises. Yeah?
You are right. You are right. And in doing so, there are, like you were sharing with your team and some of the viewers who joined the conversation, I will bring in two things: that we need divine intervention and we need human action.
Okay.
Divine intervention. We must still keep our hope and trust in God. God is with us, and He intervened in the affairs of men and women in the time. So we should not forget that fact, that we are surrounded with divine grace and mercy, and we as individuals and as a nation must put our trust in God. We sing, God bless our homeland Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. We should not only sing it, but it must find place in our governance system.
Yeah.
The other side is the fact that we must also accept human action, that things that human beings are supposed to do, we don't go to God for those things. Things that hard work, proper planning, goal setting, some of the things earlier on you mentioned, must do, sound work ethics, good governance, sustainable development, national interest, national priorities. Where these key values must go, we should not hope that prayer and prophecy and other things will do. So I will pray for a balance between divine intervention and human action as we move forward.
Okay, talking about divine intervention, Vice President Bamea was asking, religious groups to pray for MPs to prevent chaos in Parliament. I'm not sure if you've seen that. So we're asking for divine intervention, but we also, I think, need to look within ourselves, like you said, so that we can actually, for governance and democracy, we need to look within ourselves, so that when the divine intervention comes, it's not just coming to a flat surface. It's coming to something that has been, carved and molded and ready for that divine intervention.
You are right. You are right. For instance, those of us in church, we thank God, Ghana, like some Africa countries, we have Ghanaians with us in church, and not only in church, in our mosques and other religious bases. Now, in terms of discipleship, the church must not create superstar, superhero pastors. Discipleship making. If somebody goes to church 5-10 years, that person must be strong in faith, not depending on pastors and depending on substances, material.
Yeah.
We must make sure people are well groomed and grounded in the faith, and that they will bring faith impact into the public sphere. We live in a country, we are building wonderful church edifice, auditorium here and there. Young people are in our churches, and we still talk about unemployment. We talk about migration. We talk about moral decadence in our country. We talk about church members who are into public service, who don't have values for ethics and conduct. Now, quickly, you know that there's something that the church must seriously consider or reconsider. So church should not be another religious entertainment. Church must bring people back to that God consciousness. There's a gap between the huge numbers we have in our churches and impact, social impact, the impact, influence of the church on society, and church leaders must be worried. That is how you get divine intervention.
Yeah.
You don't just keep on adding church activity morning, afternoon, evening, and families are breaking down. People are lazy, they are not working, and you still expect divine intervention. My sister, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. But now, what are the churches doing? Aside from the fanfare and all of the glitz and glam, what is the church doing so that it draws its people closer to God?
Now, this is where maybe using your platform, I will want to suggest to colleague men and women of God that we are dealing with human beings. We are dealing with life.
Yeah.
We pastors should not be so much excited what we get at the end of services. And if I go to church, I know offerings will be taken.
Yeah.
There are certain church members who are so dedicated, young people who are in church who will come and play drums and do all the run around for the church. At the end of the day, our pastors must focus on quality of life. When people come to my church 1 year, 2, 5, 10 years, I must be worried when it comes to matters of human dignity.
Yeah.
Where are they? What is the quality of life, marriage life? What difference has church brought on their life? And again, I mentioned earlier on quality discipleship.
Quality discipleship.
Build the people up, stir up the gifts in them,
Yeah.
help them to be on their feet, independent, depending on God's word, rather than always depending on pastors. Now, the church in Ghana, we are not grooming our people to be able to face the challenges of life. People wake up in the morning with dreams and they are looking for their pastors. They are looking for anointing oil. They are looking for, somebody, somewhere, prophet to come. That is not church growth.
Yeah.
So we must grow the church. By growing the church, I mean discipleship that bring people back to scripture, back to God, that they can depend on God, trust in God, not trusting in men and women of God.
Yeah.
That is not church growth. But I'm sorry to say we are witnessing that kind of church in Ghana today. And if I may move on, the members should also be able to bring the church into the public domain.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at media space, television, radio, online, social media, church, but you don't see church when our members are in the marketplaces, when they are in governance. They don't bring holiness, righteousness, ethics, morality to governance. People are stealing national money and they don't feel ashamed.
Yeah.
People are in advantage position, but now it's like they just want to stand on the church, especially during election. They move from one church to one church, and when they come into governance, you realize that they were only playing game with us. They don't mean what they were telling us. And we must be worried that we have such Christians in this country who go into leadership only to steal money and misbehave.
All right, Rev, before I let you go, we just started a new year. What are some of the things you think we should do to have a fruitful and fantastic 2022?
You know, in scripture, and I've said this, I'll say it again, that we must keep hope alive. We must focus on God. Especially those of us who are faith people. If you're a Muslim, the same. Whatever you believe in, let us have clear focus. And focus on, especially for those who believe in God, the God who has brought us such far. And that is where I will emphasize divine intervention.
Yeah.
But on governance level, our leaders are playing with our emotions. When they are in opposition, the things they tell us, you know, I'm not coming into leadership to increase taxes are nuisance. We will not increase fuel, and they build your confidence in them. They build trust. When they come to leadership, interesting, they don't even apologize. The very thing they told us while in opposition that they will not do, they double them.
Yeah.
And they do it without shame. Our leaders must focus on public trust. We can't joke with public trust. They are playing with our emotions. When it comes to their interest, they don't fight in Parliament on Article 71 allowances. When they are arranging loans for members of Parliament vehicles, they don't fight. They are giving us impression that they push sacrifice behind us. They are pursuing their own interests, but they give us impression they are fighting for us. If you are fighting for us, place national priority, national interest, place patriotism ahead. I'm sorry to say some of our leaders are disappointing us.
All right, some of our leaders are disappointing us, Rev. Thank you very much. Some of the things I've taken out from this is that to have a fruitful 2022, keep hope alive, keep faith in God. And in terms of governance and leadership, we need to, public trust is the most important thing. So don't come today and tell me A, B, and C, and then tomorrow you lie to me or you turn around and do X, Y, Z. Yeah?
Definitely, you are on point.
All right. So before you leave, would you like to have any last remarks?
We must live as people who are full of gratitude. We should not take things for granted. We have a hymn that says that count your blessings and name them. Now let us begin counting our blessings. Don't just look at the bad side of life. Let's look at the positive side of life. Even having life, having people who come to you with smile.
Yeah.
And that is why we should, there are people that they need today is laugh, is a smile at the workplace. That somebody let me know that I mean something to him or her. Let us live as human beings.
Yeah.
Let us bring laugh. Let us make people feel important. And let us appreciate the little contributions that people make. God is our strength. He will see us through, but we must do what human beings are supposed to do and allow God to do what God is supposed to do. Have a very fruitful year, my sister and your team.
Oh, thank you very much. Have a fruitful year, Rev. That is Reverend Dr. Kwabena Oponi Frimpong, who's Executive Director for Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa. And he's reminding us to be grateful, to count your blessings. So at 9 o'clock when this show ends, just count your blessings, 5 blessings, write them down and put them somewhere you can see them, and always remember to be grateful. You're still watching the AM show. I'm going to take a quick breather. I'll be back with more.